Welcome back, Earl Grant here. And I got to start off the day talking about Will Smith and Chris Rock because that was crazy. Now, my take on it is if Jada was not in the audience, this would have just been another boring Oscar night celebration, whatever it is, award celebration. But since she was there, Chris Rock made his joke. Now you can see she didn't like it, but Will Smith was laughing. Like it didn't really bother him. So either he saw that she was hurt afterwards and was like, oh, I got to do something, or she gave him the look like, really? You're going to let this slide? And he was like, oh, all right, I'm on it. So, oh, man. Yeah. So what those two things happened? So he had to get up and do something, right? So he getting up, smacked Chris Rock, and Chris Rock tried to get on with the show. But Chris Rock tried to be a professional, moving on with the show. But now, when I think about Chris Rock, I think, yeah, I hope he raised his kids right. Because picture what's going to happen to him. He takes his daughter, if he has one, to go car shopping. And she's like, well, I want a lamb. And he's like, look, you getting your first car, I'm getting you a Kia. And you know, because he's famous, TMZ, paparazzi might be around. And she's like, yeah, daddy, you got money, give me this lamb. He's like, nah, this is what you getting. And she's like, I'll smack you like Will Smith. What are you gonna do? I mean, he get a lifetime of that. So hopefully his kids are respectful because she do that, then you see her driving off in her lamb. Poor Chris. Or even worse, if he got boys and his boys is black, I know they clowning him. If it was me, I'd make that slap to a beat. Check out this jam. It really slaps. What they gonna say? Or they gonna be like, dude, you got smacked up on national TV by the Fresh Prince. Not even from the New Bel Air. You got smacked up from Smell You Later and Off the Bel Air. You got smacked up by that dude. National TV. How you gonna let that down? I don't know, but check this out. My daughter made my intro. Play that.
1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel. Please like and subscribe. Man, that boy can sing.
Speaking of defending your wife's honor, that's going to take us to this segment of Love is Hard, where women will send you mixed signals about what to do when it comes to doing that. But I think a lot of couples went through what we went through. So check this out. Okay, so my wife had just got her license. She cuts off this guy, some guy. He's got road rage, so she's still driving. He pulls up next to us, like rolls down his window. He's like yelling at her, and she's just trying to look straight ahead because she was just like, oops, when she did it. And she's like, she don't even want to acknowledge him. And he's like, you're going to get somebody killed, you so-and-so. And I'm like, well, he's getting a little disrespectful. So I try to take up for her. He called her another name. He said something else like she could mess up his car. And I was like, yo, man, I'll mess up your face. And I'm going in at him. He's going in at me right across from my wife. And I think she gets frustrated with it. So she gets in it. But she starts talking to me like I'm in the wrong. I'm yelling at him. Now, both of them are yelling at me. And now he's like laughing at me or whatever. And me and her are getting into a little argument. And she's telling me, hey, I'm a grown woman. I don't need you to defend me and blah, blah, blah. And finally, I'm just like, well, fine. You defend yourself. I will stay out of it. Now, that was on a Friday.
The next day.
We had a restaurant. Now, back in those days, you could smoke in restaurants. They had smoking sections and non-smoking sections. We sat in the non-smoking section, and this guy sits at the table right next to us, has an ashtray at the table, so he lights up his cigarette and he's puffing away. And my wife looks at me, I look at her, and I just give her this look like, hey, you grown, handle your problems. So she says to the guy, she's like, well, excuse me, sir, but this is the non-smoking section? And he's like, well, they got ashtrays on the table, so it's okay. and he keeps puffing away. And she looks at me, I look at her, I was smiling, but I'm just eating my food. He says, but your cigarette smoke, it really bothers me, sir. Could you take that to the smoking section? And he's like, nah, I'm good. And then she says something like, maybe I should get the manager or something. And this guy says, now I don't remember what this guy looks like, but I'll never forget these words. Because he says, you can get the manager if you want to, but if your man was any type of man, he would be defending you. Then my wife starts smiling. She looks over at me. Now, I didn't even know it, but I had stood up because this guy just challenged my manhood. I started talking and I started going in on him. And I said something like, look, she's grown. She wants to fight her own battles. But since you're going to put me in it, if I would have asked you to put out that cigarette and you did, maybe I use your eyes as ashtrays. And then I kept going on. But in the middle of me talking, he put out the cigarette. And by the time I sat down and I was done, he had nothing else to say but this. I sit back down, he says, brother, you need Jesus. He got up and walked off. Later on that night, my wife was like, you know what? I do like it when you defend me. So there you go. Love is hard because we get mixed messages. But you know what? We laugh about that. We plow through it. And it's just a fond memory. So now as we get ready to close out this video, y'all know next week is going to be my first music video. The song I made about my experience when my wife passed away. My son Eric is a jerk. He's off camera trying to make me laugh. He's such a jerk. When I talk about chasing your dreams, part of this is my dream to actually write a TV show. And in that vein, I'm going to introduce you to some friends of mine who are going to be in some upcoming videos. Meet the girl in 2D, in 3D. All right. And the story about the girl is she's an only child who's raised by a mother and a father. She's her daddy's little girl, daddy's princess, and she will eventually meet the guy. Guess what? The guy is also, one first, guy in 2D, the guy in 3D. Yes. And the guy is also an only child raised by a single mother. He's mommy's prince. And they will eventually meet. And they will have a love story. And this love story is going to be told through songs. I think you're going to like it. But just remember, next week, won't be doing a 10-minute talk like today. It's going to be all about the video. Then we're going to do some commentary on the video on the week after that. All right? Appreciate y'all. Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit notifications, and check out some of these older videos.